Sometimes life brings together two people who were never supposed to meet, yet somehow needed each other more than anyone else on earth. This story begins on a cold, rainy night in New York City, when a single father was tucking in his little daughter, and a stranger's trembling voice whispered into his phone, "Please, stay with me tonight." He didn't know her name, he didn't know her story, he only knew one thing: she sounded like someone holding on to her last breath. Before we begin, if you love emotional, real-life kindness stories, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. You're watching Kindness Diaries, where every story reminds us that kindness still exists. Ethan Cole was used to long days. As a single dad working 2 part-time jobs and fixing cars from his garage to pay the bills, exhaustion had become a familiar companion. But every night, no matter how tired he was, he made time for the best part of his day, reading bedtime stories to his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. That evening, as Lily drifted off to sleep clutching her favorite stuffed rabbit, Ethan's phone buzzed. He planned to ignore it, but something, maybe instinct, made him pick up. On the other end, a woman's voice, soft and shaky, whispered, "Please, don't hang up." Ethan froze. "Ma'am, are you okay?" There was silence, then a quiet sob. "I called the wrong number," she said breathlessly. "I'm sorry. I just didn't want to be alone tonight." Ethan didn't know who she was. Her voice sounded faint, as if she was struggling not to fall apart. She apologized again, then whispered, "I don't want to die alone." The words hit him hard. Ethan had known loneliness, but this was something deeper, something frightening. He asked gently, "Where are you?" She hesitated, then gave the name of a private hospital in Manhattan, one he knew he couldn't afford even to walk into. She didn't give a name, only said, "I'm in room 412, if you can, please come." Ethan looked back at Lily sleeping peacefully. He had no idea who this woman was or what he could even do for her. But something inside him whispered that he couldn't ignore a plea like that. So he called his neighbor to watch Lily for an hour, threw on his old jacket, and drove through the storm into the city. When he walked into the hospital room, he saw her, pale, fragile, yet breathtaking in a quiet, graceful way. Her long copper hair fell over the pillow, and a heart monitor beeped steadily beside her. She looked up in surprise. "You came," she whispered, almost in disbelief. Ethan nodded, unsure what to say. "You sounded like you needed someone." A weak smile tugged at her lips. "Everyone I ever had left when things got hard." He stepped closer. "I'm not everyone." Her eyes softened, shining with unshed tears. Her name, he soon learned, was Ava Sterling, daughter of one of the most powerful business families in America. A billionaire heiress, yet lying there alone in the middle of the night with no one to hold her hand. She wasn't dying, the doctors later clarified, but she was recovering from a dangerous infection that nearly took her life. And emotionally, she was broken. Ava confessed in a whisper, "Money surrounded me with people who loved my name, not me. And when I got sick, they all vanished." Ethan listened, sitting beside her bed, holding the hand she shakily offered. He didn't judge. He didn't lecture. He simply stayed. For hours, they talked. She learned he was a widower. He learned she loved old movies and secretly wrote poetry. He told her about Lily, and her face lit up like she hadn't smiled in months. At dawn, when he finally stood to leave, Ava grabbed his hand and whispered again, "Stay with me, tonight. Please." And Ethan, who had spent years being strong for everyone except himself, felt something warm open inside him. He nodded. Over the next week, Ethan visited her every evening after picking up Lily from school. Sometimes he brought his daughter, and Ava would read her stories or braid her hair. Lily adored her instantly. And Ava, well, she had never felt more human, more loved, more alive. One night Ava confessed, "You came into my life the moment I needed someone who didn't want anything from me. I called you by mistake, but maybe it wasn't a mistake at all." Ethan laughed softly. Sometimes the wrong number is the right person. Ava's health slowly returned, but she dreaded the day she would be discharged. "What if you forget about me?" she asked quietly. Ethan shook his head. "Kindness doesn't disappear, Ava. It grows. And you've become part of our world now, whether you plan to or not." When she finally left the hospital, she didn't return to her penthouse or her father's mansion. Instead, She asked Ethan if she could visit his small home and meet the life he had built with such tenderness and strength. For the first time in years, Ava sat at a kitchen table where people laughed, shared food, and cared about each other with no expectations. It didn't matter that she was wealthy. It didn't matter that Ethan worked paycheck to paycheck. What mattered was the simple, powerful truth that kindness had connected two lives that might never have touched. Months later, Ava was not only healthy but thriving. She started a foundation to support single parents and children in need, her first act inspired entirely by Ethan and Lily. At the opening ceremony, she held Ethan's hand and said, "You showed up for me when no one else did. You taught me what real kindness looks like. So now, I want to be that kindness for someone else." Ethan smiled, not knowing how one wrong number phone call had changed all their lives. Sometimes the smallest act, answering a phone call, listening, showing up, becomes the beginning of a miracle. And that is the power of kindness. If this story touched your heart, remember this: someone out there might need you more than you think. A simple act of kindness can rewrite someone's entire world. Spread kindness. Live kindly. And thank you for watching Kindness Diaries.